talent, though. Yes, that is right. The Twins do have a lot of talent. The problem with the Twins' talent is that they look a lot like the T-Wolves. A lot of it is very young, very raw, unrefined, with a lot of development still to go before the talent results in wins. Now, that being said, as a Twins fan, you've grown used to not having to win to watch and enjoy a baseball season, and you're in luck having acquired that skill, because while the Twins may or may not win a ton of games this coming season, they have so much young talent across the board that it is going to be fun to watch. You're going to get entertainment, you're going to get highlights, and you're going to get some really good baseball, at least from time to time, if nothing else. But like I said, I'm curious to see what decisions Molitor makes here in his second year, and if he can continue to build on the turnaround that he got started last season. And one final bit of baseball news, easy for you to say, Mother Goose. Betty Butter bought some butter. And then we'll get to our final quickie topic leading into Balls Deep Thought of the Day. But one Jose Reyes, all-star shortstop, all-world baseball player extraordinaire, is currently in the middle of a domestic abuse court situation, legal situation, and he has been suspended by Major League Baseball with pay, mind you, pending the resolution of his criminal case. So don't feel too bad for Jose Reyes. He is continuing to receive paychecks while his legal affairs get sorted out. All right. So our final topic for tonight, which we've got a little bit of quickie news on, and then it will segue nicely into our balls deep thought of the day, is none other than the American pastime, NFL football Americano. That's right, not baseball. Ain't no American pastime no more. Wake up. It's 2015. All right. So the big news event, what's got everybody's attention in the world of the NFL currently, would be the upcoming Combine, the NFL Scouting Combine. It is the annual, cattle prodding session that the NFL puts its upcoming draft prospects through every year to measure and calculate exactly how big and strong and fast and smart and everything that they are. Because teams are looking to invest a large amount of money into all of these people that they're taking. Even the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th rounders, they're all making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. So this is a big deal for all these teams and the GMs, and they take it very seriously who they bring into their organization. So this is really not only the first of the preseason scouting, or the off-season scouting, the pre-draft scouting, I meant to say, but it's the biggest opportunity. Literally every eye in the NFL and every voice that is heard by someone that matters in the NFL is in attendance at the NFL Combine. I'm sure you will be able to see a ton of that on NFL Network. Unlikely that any of the ESPN affiliates will get any coverage of that. I would think the NFL Network would keep a monopoly on those Combine festivities, but look for that to actually be on your TV Thursday through Sunday. If you're into that sort of thing, on NFL Network, you'll get to see all kinds of different guys at different positions who are going to be in the draft running the 40-yard dash and running shuttle cone drills and doing bench presses and vertical jumps and all that kind of stuff. A lot of people, while there's a huge interest in this, a lot of people point out to all the Combine busts that emerge, Mike Mamula being one of the most famous ones. But mark my words, there will be, every year there's at least one player who was not on anybody's draft board as a first-round pick that winds up being taken in the first round of the draft by someone because of their impressive performance that they put on at the Combine. So it is important. It's not necessarily a tell of who's going to be good or how good people are going to be, but it is a big factor into who gets selected to whom and at what point in time in the upcoming NFL draft. So we will be checking in there throughout the weekend, and we'll be recapping anything interesting that may happen at it on next week's show. A little bit of news regarding free agents to be. It sounds as though the Redskins have announced for certain that Robert Griffin III will be cut before the deadline on March 9th, and he will be looking for a new team. People are already mentioning the possibility of the 49ers as a landing spot. However, it sounds as though the Niners have announced that they are going to keep Colin Kaepernick, and they'll be paying him over $11 million next season. So I can't imagine then that they would bring in a guy like RG3 to create conflict and compete for that job as well. I would think they would, just bring Kaepernick and Gabbert back, who had success when he got time last year. As weird as that is to say. Is the route I would think they would go. Now, personally, this is just a gut feeling, but the way things are going in the league, and just based off of the impression that I've gotten of RG3 as a person, from his time at Baylor as well as his time in the NFL, I would not be surprised one bit if after a couple months in the free agent pool, if Robert Griffin III announces his retirement from the game of football. He's already made tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars, both from football contracts and endorsement deals. So, if the guy's got any other interests at all that he wants to do, and he's in fact not, one of those guys as a diehard football player just loves nothing more in the world than to play the game of football. If he's not that type of guy, which I don't think he is, he hasn't shown us any reason to believe that he is, would not surprise me one bit if in the next couple months we hear the announcement of RG3's retirement. But as of right now, he is just going to be in the free agent market. Now that brings us to our final football-related topic, and our final topic period for the show, and it's going to be the inspiring thought behind our Balls Deep thought of the day, which we close every show with here on Balls Deep Sports Talk. And this particular story involves an NFL player, some off-field stuff, we'll say, and you've heard of this guy. He goes by the name of Rob Gronkowski. That's right, the Gronk, the big, super famous, super popular tight end for the New England Patriots, has been in the news for some off-field activities that he has participated in over the last week or so. So, first things first, I'll give you the story, and then we'll get to our deep thought inspired by Mr. Gronk this week. Okay. So, this past week, one Mr. Rob Gronkowski, as I mentioned, superstar tight end for the New England Patriots, he had himself quite a good time with all sorts of shenanigans and tomfoolery and, all the things that we've come to know Gronk for and love Gronk for. Gronk is beloved, and a big part of that is because we constantly see him on TMZ, in magazines, on other TV shows, just a big old smile, fun-loving guy, having a good time. Quite often he's out partying with friends, drinking, dancing it up in the clubs. But when he does it, for whatever reason, everybody finds it charming and entertaining and good-natured, and nobody thinks any less of him for whatever reason. Well, this past week, he did what is supposed to become, from at least the plan that I hear anyway, is an annual event. Rob Gronkowski hosted what is going down in the annals of history as Gronk's Party Cruise, where Gronk got a big old boat of some kind, sold tickets, for people to come on and go party with him and his friends and family on a boat for several days. Now, a couple things I don't know are, who all the people on the boat were, obviously, and how many people were on the boat, and what the proceeds went towards. I'm sure all the money that was raised from this went towards some charity or something, towards a good cause. And I'm sure that's a factor in here, even though I can't verify it. But anyway. But so Gronk is charging people money to go out on a boat with him for like a week and party with him. Sounds pretty fun. You'd probably want to do that. I'd probably want to do that. Who wouldn't want to do that? But here's where it gets juicy. Some of the details, just a few of, like I said, much of the tomfoolery that went on Gronk's Party Cruise has surfaced in the last few days. One most notably being a reported story that on the party cruise, when there was a big group of people and they were in the club and dancing and stuff, and Gronk was behind the DJ booth, that he offered a guy who was dancing or something and a girl who was out there dancing, he offered them $10,000 if they would have sex right then and there in front of everybody. What? What? Are you kidding me? Yes, that is correct. Reports at least claim that this past week on Rob Gronkowski's Gronk's Party Cruise, that he offered two people in attendance $10,000 to have sex right then and there on the dance floor in front of everyone on the party cruise. Holy freaking what? Wow. God bless America, first off. But secondly, it makes us ask a question that is perfect for our Balls Deep Thought of the day. So let's get to it. Here's our Balls Deep Thought of the day for this week. Why is it that Rob Gronkowski, for whatever reason, can do just about anything in his free time, in the offseason or during the season, and nobody seems to have a problem with it? Everybody seems to be okay with it. It's just Gronk being Gronk, like Manny being Manny back in those days, and no one seems to have a problem with it. However, if it was the quarterback of your football team, if it was Teddy Bridgewater, if it was Aaron Rodgers, if it was Tom Brady, if it was Peyton Manning, if it was just some young minority player, even, I think, would play a factor. If it was AP, anybody with any kind of off-field history, just about any other player in the league, regardless of age, race, or position, would get absolutely crucified and murdered in the court of public opinion for doing this type of stuff if it were to get out. Would they not? Am I wrong? Like, if Aaron Rodgers did this, would people not be in an uproar about it? Nobody is in an uproar about Rob Gronkowski's party cruise. Nobody. And I'm not saying they should. That is by no means what I am saying. What I am saying and what I am pointing out to you is the ridiculous, unequal standards that we're holding these people to when they should all be held to the same standards. That's all I'm saying. If you're going to condemn one person for actions, condemn all people for those same actions. And vice versa. If one person doing something is okay, then the next person doing that same something should be completely okay too. It shouldn't be, just on a case-by-case basis. And so that is my Balls Deep Thought of the day, is why are 98% of professional athletes not allowed to do and get away with what Rob Gronkowski does whenever he feels like it. But when Rob does something, we all find it charming and entertaining, and there is no harm in it. It's all just good, loving, innocent fun. All right, well, if you would like to let me know what you think about Balls Deep Thought of the Day or anything we've talked about here on the show this week, anything you'd like us to talk about on the show in coming weeks, whatever's on your mind, do that. Please feel free to anytime you like, and the best way to do that is by following the show on Twitter at BDST Show, or if you prefer Facebook, you can also friend and like yours truly on Facebook by simply searching Scotty-Ball. But alas, we are at the end of this week's show. Finally, I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for tuning in, whether you tuned in via SoundCloud, YouTube, or my personal favorite, the completely free Spreaker app. Thanks, as always, for listening, and I will have a show for you next week like we do every week. And as I mentioned at the top of the show one last time, I cannot beg you enough to please go visit VikingsDigitalDiaries.com every week on Thursdays or Fridays or Saturdays or Sundays, anywhere in there. But as soon as every Thursday, to see my exclusive interviews, to hear my exclusive interviews, I should say, with former Vikings players The most recent of which being my interview with former Vikings wide receiver, first round draft choice, Troy freaking Williamson. Check it out as soon as you get the chance.